our second recipe is a chicken and nectarine kebabs with lime yogurt marinade. Now, this delicious dish is a great option for the summer get-togethers. The chicken is a lean protein. It's rich in B vitamins, selenium, and phosphorus. All these in combination help us heal and recover from cancer treatment. It can also help with muscle building. With this, we'll share more information about grilling, and also how to use a digital food thermometer, and talk about internal cooking temperatures. Yeah. I'll turn it over to Jeremy right now.
Right.
Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I won't turn it over to Jeremy now. Do you know what cancer-causing compounds we're concerned about when it comes to grilling animal proteins? I'm always looking at you guys. I'm sorry, because you're right in my but carcinogens. Yeah. So there's cancer-causing substances, and it's only with cooking animal protein. So meat, fish, poultry. Okay, and there's two of them, and I always have to write them down because they're long names. So we have HCAs, which is heterocyclic amines, and PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. So the HCAs, they're actually formed when you're cooking the muscle proteins at a very high heat. And that can happen with grilling, right? And then the PAHs, they're more related to cooking over an open flame where you have the smoke, and then the smoke lands back on the food, and that is causing that concern. So we will address how you can minimize both of those today. Obviously, we said in the previous recipe that you can use you can just go with cooking your fruits and vegetables, and nectarines and peaches would be beautiful also on the grill. But we also want our chicken. I want my chicken kebab today. So Jeremy, help me eat it safely.
Absolutely, I will try. So the first step is to use a marinade, right? And that's where we're going to start off. Marinades, especially if they have an acid in them, that's key.
Yes.
Can help, right?
Yes. So the acid alters the pH. I have to have this all written down, which reduces the formation. So we're reducing the pH with the acidity.
Yes.
And then, are we adding any herbs and spices?
You can. Oh, thank you.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you so much. Put it right here. No.
No.
But
Okay.
you can absolutely.
So,
spices, yes. Spices, yes.
Okay. So by adding like some herbs or spices, you're also adding some antioxidants, and that in and of itself can stop the formation of the HCAs. And then you want to let it sit for at least 30 minutes in the marinade, in the fridge, not at room temperature. Don't forget that. And as that happens, it creates a bit of a barrier on the food. So when you put it on the grill, there's less chance of it being affected by the intense heat. The other thing, it's lean. So the other thing about it is that if it's a leaner protein, you have less fat, there's less dripping on the coals, less smoke forming.
Yeah, that's really the key there, as we want to try to minimize the flare-ups from your grill and that contact with your animal-based protein. So this marinade, in addition to the protective benefits, it is also going to add a lot of flavor too. That's the first thing that we think of, right, when it comes to marinade. So with this one here, it's a yogurt-based marinade. If you've never marinated any like chicken or any animal-based proteins with yogurt, I think it's a fantastic technique. It is a great way to not only tenderize, because of the acid in the yogurt itself, tenderize the protein, but it helps all the other flavors sort of stick to it and adhere to it really well. So I love this technique. We're using just plain yogurt. I have my chicken breast here already diced, and we're going to add that yogurt in.
Can you get it diced already? or
You can. Yeah.
it's not so hard to do yourself?
Yeah, no. The thing is, the more processing that's done to it, usually the more expensive it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're okay with your knife skills enough to be able to dice it, I would always suggest to do it yourself. Yeah. So we're going to add the zest and the juice of a lime to this.
Lots of citrus today.
Yes.
Lemon in the first recipe, lime in the second.
And then spices. This is where, again, you can play around with it. We're adding some smoked paprika. This is, again, a nice way to enhance that smokiness when we're thinking of the barbecue.
A good smokiness.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Considering what's going on outside, maybe you can skip that if everyone wants to see that smokiness. But some turmeric and a little bit of ground ginger. We can add garlic. We can add, whatever you like. You can go to like more of like a jerk seasoning or like a cinnamon, a curry powder. You can just like that. So you can definitely play around with it. Okay.
Some of the studies actually name turmeric, garlic, and rosemary as key herbs and spices.
Back to the power.
So we have the turmeric, yeah. I didn't even think about the power couple. There's another power couple. It is the turmeric and black pepper. So the curcumin in the turmeric is where the active ingredient is. When you couple it with black pepper, the pepperine in the black pepper helps you absorb 2,000% more of the curcumin. I see some nods, so some of you remember that. It's another one of my favorites. I do have favorites.
You do?
Couples. Yeah.
So you said 2,000% more of what?
Of the curcumin, which is in the turmeric,
Oh,
you absorb a lot more because it's hard. Your body doesn't absorb it that well on its own. Yeah.
Okay, so like you mentioned, we want this marinating for at least 30 minutes, or you can do overnight.
And he has a fridge down here.
Yes,
Did you do overnight?
this is overnight. This is
Has a
going to
different
sit in
color.
the fridge. We're not letting it sit in the cupboard to marinate, but you can see the color on here. Yeah, turmeric from the smoked paprika. It's really, really nice color.
Pretty.
And that's going to be one component of our kebabs. The other part can be any vegetables, or we're gearing towards fruit, right? Because fruit is something unique. It's really nice. It's not something we always think of when adding to the grill. And I'm using nectarines today, but you can use pineapple, you can use peaches, you can use other usually firmer fruit, stone fruit specifically tends to work really well on the grill. And all I've done with the nectarines is the same time you put your marinated chicken in the fridge, just toss them with a little bit of any dressing that you want, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, whatever seasoning, and then you can put that in there too. So we're seasoning the fruit, seasoning the chicken, and then just let it do its thing.
Do you know what stone fruits are? What we mean by stone fruits?
I guess the ones that have a pit.
Yeah, exactly. They make it sound very, very, very exotic. And then there's freestone and
Freestone.
clintstone. Again, just as the name suggests. Yeah.
So we have we have a chicken, we have our fruits here that we're going to add to our skewers. The skewers, if you are grilling over fire, if you're grilling over like a barbecue, I always suggest to soak them in water in advance. This will slow them down from burning quickly. And then they just sort of, if you ever grilled skewers before that haven't been soaked, they sort of just char up and fall apart. It's very difficult to grab after. So soaking them in advance helps. And then when we're making them, I'm using gloves here, but gloves can be a little bit of, what's the word?
Deceiving?
Deceiving, yes. Gloves do not replace washing your hands.
Yes.
And that's why I'm using them, because I think it's important for us to talk about that food safety component. Is if I'm using gloves, you can use them, especially if I'm using, if I'm working with chicken or fish or something I don't want to touch my hands, but it does not replace washing your hands. So you still need to wash your hands really well, just like you would if you're not using gloves. And then using the gloves only once.
Mm-hmm.
Washing gloves does not work at all. Okay, So if I'm using my gloves for raw chicken, I can't just wash the gloves afterwards and then use something else. They need to be discarded. Okay, so I think deceiving is the perfect word because it maybe provides this false sense of safety.
Yeah,
yes.
false sense of safety.
Well done.
Look
We
at us.
didn't train that. All right, so take our skewers. We have our nectarines here.
Another word I'm going to use that we haven't used in a while is you're zhuzhing it up by using fruit,
We are
right?
zhuzhing it up.
Instead of our usual vegetables.
Yeah. If I'm using vegetables and fruit on the skewer and I am assembling it like this, using raw chicken and then fruit, don't use this as your snack pile afterwards, right?
No, we can't.
So we're just using this for our skewers, and everything has to be cooked fully after. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to make one just to show what we have.
Now, the other thing you're doing is using smaller portions. So having a smaller portion means that it doesn't have to sit on the grill as long either because they're smaller. They're going to cook more quickly. You may not do it with this, but if you just had a piece of meat or fish or chicken, you may also want to pre-cook it a little bit in the oven or microwave or on the stovetop, and then again, you don't have to cook it as long on the grill.
That's actually a really good technique. Sometimes we refer to it as reverse searing, and that is when we are doing that pre-cook at a very low temperature. So usually around 275, 300 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven, just until it's almost about fully cooked all the way through, and then finishing it on your stovetop or on a barbecue, just to get a little bit of that color and finish cooking it all the way through. That way, to Danielle's point, you're not on there the full time, and you risk sort of increased exposure to the flame.
Mm-hmm.
So
you still get that nice flavor.
Absolutely,
right?
and honestly, if you practice it well, it's a fantastic technique. You're going to get consistent doneness all the way through, right? Quickly, in terms of cooking, I'll get to it in a second. Again, just back to the gloves. When we're taking it off, I've had one hand that's been in the marinade, the other hand holding the stick. I'm going to grab the end of the glove and roll it over the top, and then hold that glove in this hand, and then roll it over the top. We just really want to minimize any potential exposure to that raw chicken, right? And then this we can discard, and then we're going to wash our hands again.
Since we're talking about chicken, and we're talking about safety, should you wash the chicken, rinse the chicken before you use it? Yes. No. Okay. You guys know this. So this is one of the pet peeves Health Canada had for us to make sure we drill home to people, is that you don't have to rinse the chicken. By rinsing the chicken, you actually run the risk of splashing water around the kitchen sink, and so now you're spreading the salmonella bacteria that's in it. So just go ahead and use it. Use the proper hand washing techniques, the techniques Jeremy's talked about, and you're good to go.
All right. So we have our one kebab, make multiple, so you're ready to go. And then we're going to cook this until the internal temperature, and this is where, learning about cooking meats to proper internal temperature comes into
Using
play.
the digital thermometer.
Yeah, using a digital thermometer. This is one of the best tools that you can invest in for your kitchen. Yes, question.
No. This is just a side comment. You should start to reading your.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna get dehydrated. Oh yeah.
I smell completely.
Oh,
right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good reminder.
I'm
Yes,
enjoying
absolutely.
it.
Give you that tool, and also you should try. You should try Jeremy's.
They're different.
They're different. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
okay. Well, for cross-contamination, I'm not going to put my lips on his.
Yeah. So with the food thermometer, which is really important, having a digital food thermometer, just for the accuracy, which is a lot better than some of your standard food thermometers. This is going to ensure that, yes, we're hitting our internal temperatures or right internal temperatures. It also prevents us from like overcooking. I think we have this habit of like being afraid to cook chicken because we don't want to undercook it. So we just overcook it until it's completely dry and tasteless, right? So using a digital thermometer, we can make sure that we are hitting that internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit internal, or 74 degrees Celsius.
You gonna
Did I
test
get my
them?
conversion correct?
Yep.
Yeah, 74 degrees Celsius internal temperature on the chicken to make sure that's fully cooked. And then for a full list, which
Yeah.
was printed out here, Health Canada has this
Yeah.
chart,
Has
which
this
is
chart.
really good.
So we can include the link as well. Do we have it? Didn't realize.
No,
No.
we have
Okay.
been watching, but if you have questions for those that are watching, please feel free to.
I almost closed the fridge
Oh.
door on. That would not have been good. Okay.
There we go. All right, so we're cooking until we don't have a barbecue down here in the basement of a hospital, rightfully so.
Oh.
But you can do this in the oven as well. You can do this on the grill pan, and this was fully cooked before.
Trying to show them.
Through.
I forget how. Oh, there we go. Look how pretty.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go. I think it was nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty
Well.
there. Yeah.
But you have.
It really was easy. Yeah.
But you can.
Because we watched him make it.
You can see sort of minimizing the color on the chicken. And then the tips and the edges of the nectarines do get a little bit of color on there, which is okay. And that yogurt marinade really does help to protect the chicken from getting a lot of extra charge. So that is our, what do we call it?
Recipe.
Chicken and nectarine.
Chicken and nectarine kebabs with lime yogurt marinade.